Yo, what's good? Top of the top, episode 200, Stash House Podcast. Your boy Tyler checking in. First time listeners, thank y'all for tuning in. If you tune in weekly, salute. And just an episode, saw some topics you may want to hear about. Salute to you as well. Like, share, subscribe, retweet, whatever you do to help support the podcast. Greatly appreciate it. All streaming platforms, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor app, YouTube. Subscribe, leave comments, leave reviews, leave feedback. All greatly appreciate it. Like I said before, this is episode 200. So thank y'all for one. You know, so I always thank the listeners. Thank y'all for listening, giving me something to look forward to. And also thank to myself, staying consistent, seeing the vision, clear as ever, the journey. I appreciate the journey. If y'all been tuning into this podcast since 2018, late 2018 till now, thank you. If you've been popping in and out throughout the years, thank you. First time listening, like I always say, thank you. YouTube, appreciate y'all. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, everybody, man. Everyone included. So, yeah, episode 200, like I always say, I'm not going to give y'all a huge spiel, but by now y'all probably seen it on my social media. I probably wrote like a little something. For people out there who just want to jump into something, whether it's job-related, hobby-related, content creating, related, whatever. Like if you want to use an example of somebody that just jumped into something and found the passion for it, if you want to say that, use me as the example. You know what I'm saying? Sky's the limit to whatever it is you want to do. Whatever it is you want to do in life, man, sky's the limit. That's the attitude I walk up in here with. You know what I'm saying? Everything is not promised, so let's make the best out of what we got while we got it. You know what I'm saying? So that's my little spiel for the podcast in terms of episode 200. Once again, thank y'all and continue to ride on this journey with me. You know what I'm saying? That's the best I can give y'all right now. So let's start with sports. Huge week in the NBA. A lot of things to talk about in terms of the NBA, so let's get to it. Let's first start with LeBron James. Salute to LeBron James. Congratulations to LeBron James. He broke Kareem record last week, February 7th, against Oklahoma City at home in L.A. at the Crypto Arena, but I still like to call it Staples personally. The record was held by Kareem for 39 years, and the record stood at 38,387 points. And it was seen to be one of the records, if not the record, in the NBA that nobody thought was ever going to be broke. But LeBron did it, and it just goes to show LeBron longevity. You know what I'm saying? We've been seeing LeBron literally play basketball since, sophomore, junior year, high school, definitely senior year in high school. So just showing the longevity of LeBron James' career, it's only right that he break this record. Of course, people have the conversation still, who the GOAT. Y'all can have that conversation. Me personally, if you want to talk basketball, let's talk basketball. Like, let's talk about how the point guards of today are not like the same as point guards of yesterday. The big man role has changed. Let's talk about players. Y'all got 10 to 20. You know what I'm saying? Top 20 to 25. Like, the top three, you're going to keep the same names. Top five, you're going to hear the same names. Let's talk about players outside of that. Like, we know who the top tier in the NBA history are. We understand that. Let's talk about the guys who only got one championship. Let's debate that. You know what I'm saying? Of course, the ones with no championship. So that's why I'm at on that conversation. Y'all can have that. But I'm just here to show LeBron love, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know I'm a Kobe guy, but you got to give credit due where's credit due. That's the way you say it. You got to give credit due to where credit is due. You know what I'm saying? LeBron, 3 teams, of course, Cleveland, Miami, L.A. He jumped back to Cleveland, gave Cleveland their first championship at the time, about 50-something years, something like that. So, I mean, his name is marked in the history books. Of course, now it's like, well, who can break LeBron record? And LeBron, I think his son is a senior in high school because he said he want to play with his son. I'm not sure the classification of the second son because the second son can ball as well. But, of course, Bronny is the one leaving high school, doing the 1 year in college more than likely, then making the jump to the NBA in terms of how much time does LeBron got left. You know what I'm saying? Father time is undefeated. So if you had to put a guess on, he probably got 3 to 5 years left of LeBron in his career. So that record is going to keep going and keep going and keep going. And they show footage during the game, and I'm going to get to the game later because I am a Lakers fan at the end of the day. It was great to see him break the record. It showed his family. And like I said, his longevity in the league and being a positive guy in the league as well. Like, you don't hear no dirt on LeBron or nothing like that. He made the move to L.A. for obvious reasons, you know what I'm saying, working outside of just basketball with his brand and production and his team. You got to salute him. You got to salute him. Like I always say, we can debate about who the GOAT is on the court, but off the court, I mean, there's no denying what LeBron has done in his career. So I got to salute him on that. Once again, shout out to him breaking the record. And we're going to talk about my Lakers a little bit more in this episode. But as of right now, shout out to LeBron breaking Kareem record, a record that was held for 39 years. It was great to see Kareem pass the ball to LeBron because I know for a minute, I don't know if they had any tiff, but I wouldn't be shocked because Shaq and Kareem spoke on TNT later on that night about the little tiff everybody thought they had. So it just goes to show, like, we got to show the younger guys love. Like I always say, ever since that thing happened with Kobe a couple years ago, I just feel like the NBA guys now feel like, yo, we got to show each other love. Like, let the debates be the debates, but, yo, while we here and we see each other, we got to show each other love. So that's what I write that down to as well. So once again, shout out to LeBron. Y'all know I'm a critic of LeBron, but I give credit where it's due. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is on that point. Now, as if that wasn't fun enough to see, you know what I'm saying, witnessing history in the making, witnessing it happen in L.A. with Kareem and everything, but obviously it was the trade deadline week as well. So we had some moves, most notably in Brooklyn. KD out in Brooklyn and Kyrie is out. So first I want to start with I told y'all so. I told y'all so in terms of, one, when this whole Kyrie, KD, James Harden thing in Brooklyn first came about, I said it on the podcast, yo, I get why people was like, oh, KD, Kyrie, James Harden. But I didn't see them being as a threat like everybody else did. I just didn't see it. And I'm taking everything in consideration. Injuries play a role. Obviously, with the whole pandemic, that played a role with Kyrie and everything. I took all that in consideration. You throw all three of them on the court, I'm sure they're bound to win some games. But in terms of being realistic, living in real life, living outside of the stat book, I didn't see it happening. So, one, I want to say that I was right about that. And two, when I said out of Philly and Brooklyn, when they made the trade for Ben Simmons and James Harden, I said, yo, I personally felt like Philly won that trade. I take everything in consideration. I live outside of the stat book. Stats can be deceiving at times. And in terms of throwing players together, which we're going to talk about that a little bit more as well, throwing players together, I see it. I understand why everybody's like, oh, these three together is going to make something happen. I'm always on the side of the chemistry. I'm always on the side of chemistry. When I saw the Miami three get together, I said, I'm sure they're going to win a championship eventually. But that first year, their chemistry showed in the finals with Dirk Nowitzki and those guys. The lack of chemistry with Miami, it showed. With Boston big three, I kind of figured they were going to be around with each other a little bit longer, but we saw how egos can get in the way. When Ray Allen went to Miami and all, we saw how different things can play a role in great players disbanding from each other. We saw with Golden State with KD. But in terms of Brooklyn, let me talk about Brooklyn real quick. Then I'm going to talk about KD and Kyrie. Brooklyn, like I said, I don't think Ben Simmons can be the guy. They got Spencer Dinwiddie in the trade for Kyrie. Maybe this may be his year to leap into that role of starting guy. I mean, it's not starting guy, but the guy. But I feel like Brooklyn missing the piece. I'm not sure what it is because they say Ben Simmons, he's one of those players, very talented, but in terms of scoring, he's a liability. He's a liability, and Dinwiddie, we'll see. But I'm not mad at how Brooklyn came out of this situation. Excuse me. Because for a minute, when they fired Steve Nash with the new coach, they were doing pretty all right. I mean, at the moment, they fifth in the East at the moment. So it's not like they was number 11, number 12. They were fifth in the East, so maybe it's a behind-the-scenes. I'm sure it's a behind-the-scenes thing with this whole KD, Kyrie, James Harden fiasco coming to an end. I forgot which show I was watching. They were saying, yeah, when Kyrie was out, you knew KD was going to be out because that was a double package right there. They came together. If one of them not there, the other one's not going to be there more than likely. So, I mean, Brooklyn, they could just wash their hands with it. Hey, we tried something that didn't work. Move forward. Move forward. Bring in players that you know can get along with each other. Team players. Bring in team players and see where it goes. You in the midst right now in the East. hey, they out. They didn't want to be here. Let's move forward. We got the second half of the season to go. So that's what it is with Brooklyn. Now to Kyrie first, because Kyrie was traded first, and Kyrie demanded a trade out of nowhere to be traded before the deadline, which I saw. I was like, okay, I did just say to myself, Kyrie been kind of quiet lately. And then we got the breaking news alert that he wanted out of Brooklyn. And for a minute there, my Lakers was in the running for him. Now, you asking me, Tyler, a straight-up trade. I mean, I'm guessing, draft picks will play a role, probably one more player. But basically, it's going to probably be a straight-up Kyrie for Russell Westbrook trade. So, Tyler, how would you feel about that? It depends on which Kyrie we got, if it would have happened. Now, of course, now it didn't matter. But just, hypothetically speaking, what would I thought of if Kyrie would have came to the Lakers? Depending on what Kyrie would have got. Because you got to think, the reason Kyrie wanted out of Cleveland, he didn't want to play with LeBron. Now you're telling me now all of a sudden he want to play with LeBron? That's one thing. Of course, the media, that's another thing. You dealt with Brooklyn, the New York media. We saw how that went down. So now you coming to L.A., I can only imagine that. But I think on the court, if he was just locked in on basketball, like I felt like he was doing for the past couple weeks, honestly. Like they was trying to get him to jump out, but Kyrie like I said, I felt like dang, I heard from Kyrie in a minute. Kyrie been kind of quiet. So we would have got that Kyrie. I feel like we'd have been all right. I feel like conversations would have been had behind the scenes, and I would have been more, okay, Lakers, they made a move. But it didn't happen. Where he did go, though, was Dallas. Kyrie is joining Luka in Dallas. Now, how I think that'll go, of course, they're going to be in the playoffs. That should go without question. They're going to be in the playoffs. But how would this team fare out in the playoffs? Me personally, outside of Luka and Kyrie, I don't see nobody else stepping up to that role. You know what I'm saying? That's number 3. And 2, Luka and Kyrie both need the ball. I feel like they'll play more of a role, like I said, when we get to the playoffs. Like now it's cool. It's right before All-Star. We're seeing how many points they scoring. We still got some more games left. But I'm just thinking forward to playoff play. Of course, healthy, everybody healthy and everything. I feel like they'll play a role. Both of them kind of need the ball. So I like to see how they'll play out just on the court. Outside of the court, who knows what's about to happen? You got Mark Cuban over there. Who knows? But in terms of on the court, they're going to make the playoffs. But let's say if they play New Orleans or somebody first round, they might can get that in 6. But I see them going probably as far as second round in the playoffs, Dallas, because the West is loaded. And you throw 2 of the best players in the league on the court together, on the team, they're going to win some games. But I feel like playoff basketball, best of 7, you're going to need other people to step up besides those 2. And I don't see nobody on Dallas at the moment where I'm like, okay, he's going to be the guy. It's open season for everybody on Dallas. You got Kyrie and Luka, so you don't got to worry about getting double teamed. You got room to operate, so maybe they role players will step up. That's the key for Dallas with Kyrie and Luka. They role players definitely got to step up. So that's it with Kyrie. Kevin Durant on the move once again, this time in Phoenix. I personally don't look at it the same as when he went to Golden State because I feel like, one, that was a different situation in terms of this was a trade, and I think the Warriors move were more of he can sign where he want to sign. If I'm wrong, please reach out and tell me. I think this is a totally different situation. And me personally, I don't look at it in terms of the leverage going completely to Phoenix. Of course, Phoenix is probably, for me, top 3 now to win the NBA Finals. I did not have them in that situation before. I had Memphis, and obviously Memphis. I love Memphis, braggadocious, young, ego team, but I love it better when they kick them in the ass at the same time. But I'm still going with my Memphis pick just because I don't want to switch over. Back to Phoenix, KD, late Wednesday night in exchange for T.J. Warren. Well, he and also T.J. Warren are going to Phoenix in terms of who they exchanged with. Jay Crowder is gone from Phoenix, Mikal Bridges, and Cam Johnson, and they got 4 first-round picks as well. Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson were 2 of the young guys that Phoenix definitely saw as assets. Jay Crowder, he comes and goes. I haven't been paying too much attention to him this year, but in terms of playoff play, he definitely comes and goes. So I'm not surprised he was involved in the mix as well. And, of course, going back to Brooklyn, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Spencer Dinwiddie, you got Ben Simmons can orchestrate things on offense if need be. Like I said, Brooklyn, they didn't fall off now. Like, Brooklyn got rid of dead weight, and they brought in some young guys who looking to get ready. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not mad at Brooklyn. But in terms of Phoenix, adding Kevin Durant, so you got CP3, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and Aiden. I can't name who the fifth guy is right now on the starting lineup, but I know those the four. That's the nucleus of the team now. I understand why they're heavy favorites, and you get them all healthy, and really, I echo what everybody else been echoing. The only person that we looking at to like, hey, yo, this your time to dominate is Aiden. You know what I'm saying? He's been the missing piece in terms of, okay, we see the potential. We've seen the potential. We know he can play. But now you got open season. You had Devin Booker. You had CP3 orchestrating things. And you were seen as, okay, if we can stop this guy, we can worry about Booker and CP3. But now you add Kevin Durant to that mix. Fam, Aiden got all the floor he want now to operate. I look for DeAndre Aiden to really step up. And I think that's what everybody's saying, like, okay, we know Booker gonna get his, CP3 gonna get his, Kevin Durant gonna get his, obviously. Aiden, the floor is yours. And that's the key to this team winning the championship. Now, once again, I'll go back to team chemistry. How will it look? How soon can they, you know what I'm saying, start clicking? And normally that would be a real thing for me, like I just said with Kyrie and Luka. But when you got Chris Paul orchestrating things on offense, it's going to happen very, very quickly. Like, I'm not saying, though, this February now, this team might look dominant by the end of March. By the end of March, when we look back at Phoenix since the Kevin Durant trade, and if everything is going how I think it's going to go in terms of people staying healthy and everything, with Chris Paul orchestrating things on that offense, I feel like things are going to click pretty well. And that's when it'll get really dangerous for the rest of the league. If that team start clicking right before the playoffs, weeks heading into the playoffs, oh, yeah, the playoffs will be very, very interesting when you got Chris Paul orchestrating things like that. So that's the big thing for me. How quick can Chris Paul get these guys ready? And DeAndre Aiden, is he going to step up to the plate? Because that's really the only question mark I got right now. The bench going to fill itself out. I see everybody saying, they top heavy, whatever. But when you got those four guys in your starting lineup, you can just set pieces up on the bench, and it could work. I get it. We were, role players. Like I just said, role players play a role. But when your starting lineup is like that, when positions like that, Chris Paul, he been here for a minute now. He know what to do. He's the point guard. Devin Booker, he the heart and soul of the team. He know what he gonna do. Ayton been the one we waiting to step up. So what better way to get Ayton to step up to have a clear distraction with Kevin Durant? He's going to do Kevin Durant regardless. I don't care if you put him on Orlando Magic. He's going to be Kevin Durant at the end of the day. So I understand why people got them as heavy favorites now. Like I said, I still got them in the midst with Memphis, Milwaukee, and Boston. But if this team start clicking at the right time, playoff season will look very, 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 very scary for the West and possibly the East, depending on who's coming out the East. So in terms of everybody, I think this was the right move for Brooklyn, the right move for KD, and the right move for Kyrie. Of course, people are going to say Phoenix probably won the trade in terms of who they already had, plus who they added. But I'm not mad at Brooklyn going with this decision. You fifth in the East. Things started clicking when you fired Steve Nash. Let's get rid of the dead weight. These guys don't want to be there. Let's get rid of the dead weight. Kyrie, you going to Dallas. KD was sending you to Phoenix, and who knows, maybe y'all meet up in the playoffs and have a playoff series. Y'all can play each other. But we over here in the East, and we just going to focus on the rest of our season. So I feel like everybody won in this situation. So, like I said, the Brooklyn experiment is finally over with. They got some young guys who look ready, some young guys who I feel like can keep them outside of the play-in. I feel like they fifth right now in the East. I feel like they can stay in that 5th to 8th ranking seeding. I don't think they'll drop to the play-in. If everybody stay, I don't think they'll drop to the play-in, Brooklyn. So I think Brooklyn see this as a win. I feel like Kyrie sees it as a win, and KD see it as a win. So that's with the Brooklyn experiment. And now, my Lakers. My Los Angeles Lakers. So Lakers fans, I got good news and I got bad news. The good news is we got rid of some players on our team that many people was probably ready to get rid of. Westbrook, Pat Bev even. We got rid of some players. The bad news is it ain't going to change a damn thing about our season. Sorry to say it. Did we get better? I mean, we beat Golden State over the weekend, so if you want to put that as a clap, I guess. But in terms of the rest of the season, at the moment, I believe we like 12th or 13th in the West. I had us going maybe getting into the play-in, so are you asking me, Tyler, are we more of a shoot-in for the play-in now, or are we still fighting for a play-in? I think we're still fighting for a play-in, me personally. That's just me, though. We got D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, Jared Vanderbilt. We got rid of Thomas Bryant, and news came out that Thomas Bryant requested a trade. He didn't demand, he requested a trade because he felt like he should be getting more playing time, not in place of Anthony Davis, but alongside Anthony Davis. He given us some good numbers past couple of games. So I feel like he ready to take that jump, and they wasn't giving him the time to take that jump. So now I believe there's like, Vanderbilt is going to get that time slot probably now. And real quick, going back to the Phoenix trade for Kevin Durant, Phoenix was looking at John Collins. I saw Woj say Phoenix was looking at John Collins out of Atlanta before Kevin Durant. So imagine what would have happened if they would have got Collins instead of Durant, who Durant probably would have ended up with. But back to my Lakers. We sent Pat Bev to Orlando for Mo Bamba. So I don't see it changing nothing. D'Angelo Russell back with the Los Angeles Lakers. I mean, being the way that he left with the whole Nick Young situation, I wasn't like, oh, welcome back to Laker Nation, because the way he left, it was like, you know what I'm saying. I mean, like I said, my expectations before wasn't like, oh, we just need to make this one move, get Westbrook out of. No. With Westbrook, we was fighting for the play-in. Without Westbrook and with D'Angelo Russell, we still fighting for the play-in. Well, we got younger guys who can step up any other night. I mean, I guess we got players who can give us points, but let's get some things clicking, man. Let's get some things clicking. I do enjoy the fact that we made it to All-Star break and nobody is on our coach Darwin Ham head. I like, give him some years, man. Don't be on this man halfway into the season. We know what we working with. It's not the coach's fault. So I'm glad to see that. I'm glad to see that, okay, we just need to move some pieces, get rid of some contracts. Where we go from here, we got probably 2 more years with LeBron. Anthony Davis got to stay healthy. That's my only thing with the Lakers. Anthony Davis got to stay healthy. If Ant Davis stay healthy, we in the play-in. That's where I'm at with it. If Ant Davis stay healthy, we in the play-in. So that's my thing on the Lakers right now. We shall see. Also, some other trades that happened. There was a lot of players went back to former teams. Spencer Dinwiddie went back to Brooklyn. D'Angelo Russell went back to L.A. We got John Wall going back to Houston. Eric Gordon going to the Clippers. Josh Hart going to the Knicks. Wiseman for Golden State going to the Pistons. And like I said before, a couple weeks ago, they was on him saying, we thought he'll get off to a quicker start than what he has, so I'm not shocked to see that. Sadiq Bey going to the Hawks. Gary Payton II going back to the Warriors. At the time, I think they were trying to halt it because his physical report or something came back, and they can't make the trade right now, so keeping an eye on that. And Cam Reddish to Portland, man. Portland, please treat Cam Reddish right. I don't know why Atlanta got rid of Cam Reddish. I don't know why New York picked up Cam Reddish when Thibodeau didn't even want Cam Reddish. Cam Reddish is a guy who getting bounced around, but he deserves a shot. and I think Portland would fit well for him. He can ball, man. While healthy, Cam Reddish can ball. So, yeah, there was a trade, one of those trade deadlines that lived up to the hype. At first, it was kind of quiet because I was like, yo, this whole Brooklyn thing to calm down. Kyrie popped out. Yo, I want to trade before Thursday. They made that kind of quick. Then Wednesday night, we got the Kevin Durant shocker. That sent some things in the air, you know what I'm saying, going into Super Bowl weekend. So that was dope to see. And we'll see for the second half of the season. We'll see how All-Star weekend go this upcoming weekend. And we'll see how the second half of the season pan out. But at the time, at the moment, yes, I feel like Phoenix, they was right there, like coming out the West. People like had them in conversation. But I think now, in terms of the West, they might be the favorites. I'm going to stick with my pick of Memphis for the time being. And at the East, I still got Milwaukee coming out the East. And I still got, Boston. I was completely wrong about Boston once again. They'll definitely be in the mix in terms of teams coming out the East this year. And my Lakers, Westbrook saga over with. I think they still really want to see where Westbrook end up. I don't think who we traded him to, I don't think Minnesota. I don't think he's going to stick in Minnesota. So got to see how that panned out. Got rid of Westbrook, got rid of Pat Bev. Brought in D'Angelo Russell with some more younger guys, but I don't see it moving the needle much for my Lakers. I think we're still going to fight to get into the play-in. So we'll see how that go. But once again, for this podcast episode, this was episode 200. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Wilt Chamberlain, shout out to LeBron. So I just did the lift. You see it on YouTube, you see the 200 sign I got. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to y'all, man, for rocking with me so far on this journey. Stash House Podcast. Catch y'all here next week. Keep me in your prayers. I do the same for y'all. Drink plenty of water. Enjoy yourself. Knock out those clock hours at work. Get your money. If you're in school, get as much education as you can. Soak up so much game as you can in school, out of school, at work, whatever the case may be. Keep your head on the swivel. Be mindful of your surroundings. Drink plenty of water. Exercise. Do all that good stuff. Take care of your mental. Most importantly, take care of your mental. Take time for yourself. Take care of your kids. And, thank y'all for tuning in. This is episode 200, Stash House Podcast. Your boy Tyler checking out. Salute.